Hello, friends. Thanks for waiting. Hope you're well. I'm Clay Emo. I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter. I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram. I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club. Not sure why I stuttered there. And this is my Canucks take, all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks Commentary live stream Sunday night, 10 p.m. Once again, here with you. Just gonna adjust this camera a little bit. It's too high, I think, but that's okay. And yeah, I hope you guys had a really good weekend. And I appreciate you being here. As I always say, no matter if you're in my neighborhood of Richmond, in Steveston here, beautiful Steveston, beautiful Richmond, or in part of the Lower Mainland, or the province, or in the country, or on the continent, or around the world, I know that you could be doing anything else right now, but instead you're here with me, so I don't take you for granted. I don't take that for granted as well. We have a lot to talk about today, but as we get started, if you haven't subscribed already, I invite you to subscribe. If you want to like this video, this is the part that I really like, where it goes up from 2 likes to hopefully maybe, I don't know, 10 or 15. Well, there's only 15 of you on here right now, so maybe that's a bit of a stretch, but we'll see if those likes go up. And yeah, we'll just kind of wait for a few people to file in here. But I'm hoping for a big week of Canucks news. There hasn't been a lot already. So on my channel this week, I started off on Monday by talking about Louis Eriksson's future. And that was the day that we heard that Mark Stahl got traded from the Rangers. Mark Stahl on his $5.75 million contract, a $5.7 million contract, only 1 year, not 2 years though. Got traded to the Detroit Red Wings. They also had to give the Detroit Red Wings a second round pick as well. But the thought was that, yeah, maybe there is a chance that they can move Louis Eriksson. Then on Tuesday, I talked about, given that the Tampa Bay Lightning won the Stanley Cup on Monday, I talked about some of the things that the Vancouver Canucks can learn from the Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning. On Wednesday, I talked about the fact that Henrik Lundqvist was bought out by the Rangers. So 2 days after trading Mark Stahl, they bought out Henrik Lundqvist. And I talked about, could that have a small impact? Maybe. Could he be a consideration for the Canucks if Jacob Markstrom indeed moves on? Then at the very end of that video, I talked about Oliver Ekman-Larsson, but I kind of dismissed it actually as a fleeting thought. Then on Thursday, I talked about whether or not Jim Benning could recoup draft picks. We know that we don't have a draft pick in the first round, JT Miller trade. We know we don't have a draft pick in the second round, Tyler Toffoli trade. So could Jim Benning try and recoup 1 or 2 draft picks before the draft, which is actually only 2 days from now on Tuesday. Then on Friday, I circled back to Oliver Ekman-Larsson talk because it started to really heat up with reports that he would only entertain a trade to Vancouver or Boston. So that was kind of interesting. So I talked about that on Friday. Then on Saturday, I talked about how Robin Lehner signed a $5 million, 5-year, $5 million a year, a $25 million contract with the Vegas Golden Knights. And I talked about how that might affect Jacob Markstrom's negotiations. People would say that Jacob Markstrom and Robin Lehner were the 2 biggest fish when it came to UFA goalies. So how will that impact Jacob Markstrom's negotiating? And then today I did my weekly Ask Me Anything. Sunday is a bit of a lighter day when it comes to content. Well, although actually the Ask Me Anything vlogs take longer because I actually have to figure out what questions I'm going to answer. So we did that. We did the Ask Me Anything vlog, and then Sunday night, of course, is my live stream. So that was my week on YouTube. It was good. It was a good week, but I'm just waiting for some Canucks action. I'm waiting for some Canucks activity. They got eliminated in the first week of September, so it's been 4 weeks, and we have not heard a single thing when it comes to transactions. So I get that it's complicated. I get that maybe there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. But there's only 2 days before the draft. There's only 5 days before free agency opens, and the buyout window and the qualifying offers, all that has to happen this week. So I'm very fascinated to see what happens, as I'm sure you guys are as well. So again, thanks for being here. Let's get to your questions already. And I finished within my 5-minute allotment. So we'll see how long we go today, but I appreciate that you guys are taking time to be here. And I'm hoping that we have a lot to talk about on this channel as the week progresses. HSM Fangirl Gaming, hey Clay, now that it's draft week, do you think more details are going to come out about the draft, or have all the details already been announced? Yeah, great question, Fangirl. It's going to be a virtual draft. That's all we know so far. The first round will be on Tuesday, and I think rounds 2 through 7 will be on Wednesday. I think that's it, but I stand to be corrected if I'm wrong, but usually they only do the first. I know it was in Vancouver last year, blessed to go. So it was only the first round on Friday night, on the first night, because they took so long. They got like 5 minutes for each pick. 5 minutes times 30 teams. That's 150 minutes there. That's 2.5 hours already. So that's why, and of course that timer, the time allotment drops in the second day, rounds 2 through 7. So I believe it's still going to be first day will be round 1, second day will be rounds 2 through 7. And last year, the second day was on my birthday, June 22nd. You guys might remember, if you remember me vlogging about it, I actually stayed up all night. I pulled an all-nighter volunteering at my son Sean's grad, his grad festivities at Hugh Boyd as a casino dealer, and then went straight to Rogers Arena for day 2 of the draft. Show up, we hear about the JT Miller trade, and then it went from there. So that was my memory of last year's draft. Nux, hey Clay, hello Nux. Oh, I gotta bring out my cheat sheet of how old everyone is. There, Nux, I remember that. A bunch of teenagers, that's right. You guys remember? I made this cheat sheet last week, and one column is all the teenagers, one column is all the guys my age, though 30 to 50, and one column was all the young adults, and obviously the teenagers were winning. All right, so how you doing? Hi Clay, I don't think the Canucks rumors were OEL that will ever be moved to the Canucks, which is good. The rumors are dying down. I think the Coyotes won't take a bad contract back or retain. Yeah, they kind of just came out of nowhere, so how you doing? And yeah, I have a gut. I'd actually be okay if it happens. I'd actually be okay if it doesn't happen, because obviously if it happens, that's going to be a big blockbuster move, and it'll have this fan base talking, and you're going to have, I think, equal people on either side. But I also could see it not happening and let the Canucks worry about all those other things that they've been worrying about for the past 4 weeks. That's a fair comment. Justin, hi Clay and everyone else. Hope you're well. Thank you, Justin. Hope you're well as well. We are doing well. Thank you. I had a really good day. Yesterday, didn't do any studying, didn't do any work. You may have seen my tweet. I went for a nice bike ride in beautiful Steveston. I watched 90 Day Fiance, which is crazy, but I ended up watching that. And then did some vlogging, did some ministry work. There was something else that I watched yesterday too. That was good. Oh, and then last night we watched The Social Dilemma, that movie on Netflix, which I thought was pretty good as well. Oh yeah, I learned how to play Justin Bieber on the piano, so it's only 4 chords. It was okay. So how you doing? Salary, retained salary. Yes, thank you, Justin. Would you think a 3-team trade will be possible between the Canucks, Coyotes, and Bruins? Perhaps let Ekman-Larsson to Boston, Carlo or DeBrus to Vancouver, and a bunch of pieces like a JV and Juolevi going back. Yeah, that's not really good, Justin. That's a good thought, because Boston and Vancouver are the only 2 teams that that Oliver Ekman-Larsson apparently would waive his no trade to go to, or but it's interesting, because I when you look at that JV and Juolevi, I don't think that's enough, right? There's going to have to a lot more than that, especially if you're talking about Ekman-Larsson, Carlo, and DeBrus, who are, I'd say, better players. So no, a good thought, but I 3-team deals are so rare, and I think this year especially deals are going to be really rare, or at least they're going to be. GMs are really going to proceed with caution. So good thought, but I don't see something like that happening. Justin, long shot, but would be one big blockbuster if we went a cheaper, younger Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Carlo. Yeah, for sure. But it's got to make sense for all 3 teams, right? So how you doing? Analytics suggests that Ekman-Larsson isn't that reliable defensively. People are saying, yeah, how you doing? I agree with that, but you got to remember he's been playing with a pretty poor Arizona team. You play him with a guy like Quinn Hughes. You play him with a much better set of forwards, and maybe his numbers, at least his offensive numbers, become better just because he's playing with better players. Justin, haven't seen one of those multiple team trades in a while. There you go. But again, Boston, Vancouver have some cap issues, so this complicates the OEL situation. It does, and that's why I don't think it's going to be easy. Andrew, I expect a crazy week. I hope so. Andrew, I want to talk about some stuff on the channel. Callum says, yeah. Nick, hey Clay, if Jacob Markstrom walks, do you like the possibility of signing Braden Holtby? I don't mind Holtby. I think he's on a downward spiral. Not spiral. He's not spiraling. What am I talking about? He's on the downward side of his career, but he's still pretty good. But I just don't want to sign him to too much money or too much term. So if somehow he'd be willing to come for 2 or 3 years at $4 or $5 million, then maybe not even that much. But I don't think that's happening. I don't think he will. If he still believes in his game, he won't settle for non-starter money. I think he's gonna go after starter money. But he's okay. But so if I had to answer your question, Nick, I would not like that possibility, just because I think his term or his money is gonna be too much. Oliver, hi Clay. Hello, Oliver. Do you think that the Canucks will get rid of any of their bad contracts since time's ticking? Oliver, I know that they're trying. I know that we talk about Eriksson, Sutter, Berchi, Beagle, Roussel. All 5 of those guys have been talked about. Easier said than done. You can only have one buyout, and we don't see that a lot. So between buyout trades, burying in the minors. There's all these options, and I'm sure that they're exploring everything right now. I'm sure it's going to be a very busy week. Edmund, given that it's almost time, do you think Markstrom is not signed by Wednesday? Safe to say he's probably gone. No, Edmund, I actually don't think that. I actually thought that more last week, but as I listened to more people talk about it, remember the Sedins didn't get done until the day right just before free agency opened, and you can still sign a guy on the first day of free agency, of course. Of course, everyone else can as well. So I wouldn't say if it's not done by Wednesday that he's gone, because you still have all Thursday and early hours of Friday. So we'll see, Edmund. I think Oliver Ekman-Larsson is still a good defenseman, but I'm curious as what the asking price is for him. I've heard player, pick, and prospect, which is a lot. A player, is that Louis Eriksson? A prospect, I don't want to touch Höglander, Rathbone, or Podkolzin. And then then a pick, but we don't have a first or second round pick. So I'm not sure if we have what Arizona might want. Michael, when do you think the Canucks win the President's Trophy again? Prayers go to President Trump. Yeah, we hope that that no one suffers from COVID. And with respect to the President's Trophy, I think it's going to be a while. I think the Canucks can definitely contend for the playoffs, contend for the Stanley Cup, but I don't see them being the best team points-wise in the regular season for a long time. Justin, if Markey walks, I'd rather see a Lundqvist instead of a Holtby. For some reason, Holtby has been declining the last few seasons, and his performance has some bad Bobrovsky vibes. Yeah, that's true. Holtby has declined a little bit. Lundqvist is still very good. But they're both very good. It's tough to say, right? It depends on who's playing, what type of team you have playing in front of you as well. Simon, do you think OEL would be a better fit for the Canucks than the Coyotes? Tough to say about fit. He's obviously going to be a leader, but he reminds me very much of Edler from a standpoint of a Swedish defenseman. You know, obviously he would fit in with Pettersson, with Markstrom, with Eriksson if he's still here, with Edler for a year. So I think he would fit in well, but stylistically, yeah, I think he'd be fine, but I can't say whether or not he'd be better fit than Arizona. He's been obviously a workhorse for them for the past few seasons, many seasons. Andrew, well, it'd be great to have OEL on the team. It's a long contract. It's funny, no one wants to type out Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Everyone says OEL, which is fine. Well, it's great to have OEL on the team. It's a long contract, high price. At the end of next season, Pettersson and Hughes need to be signed. All true things, but they might see a chance to get better, a lot faster right now. Dexter, the Canucks better not trade for OEL, a 29-year-old heavily declining player with a terrible contract length and term. He would also be the second left-hand D behind Hughes, which is total waste. Yeah, he would be the second left-hand D behind Hughes, unless you want to try and move Hughes to the right. I don't think we even want that. But I wouldn't say he's heavily declining. You got to think, remember, he's not playing with a really good team in Arizona right now. Jasper, will Benning recover a draft pick? That's what I talked about this week on my vlog. I hope so. I hope so, but easier said than done. Edmund, I remember when the Sedins resigned, it was down to the wire back in 2010, so you hopefully can resign Markey on Friday, but you never know. I do hope that Markey has a better chance to win with the Canucks. Yeah, I do think the reason why it's taking so long is because I think the Canucks and Markstrom are still trying to work something out. Dexter, also don't want pieces going back the other way. A good piece yes, that's the tricky part. You have to give up quality to get quality. Edmund, Clay, would you want Brendan Dillon? We are too stacked on left D, but it is nice to hear him say he wants to play back in his hometown. Yeah, but he's not going to say that he doesn't want to play here either. But, I like Dillon. I liked him when he was in San Jose back in the day. So I think he'd be good. But I don't think we're going to get him if we get Oliver Ekman-Larsson. But maybe he could be a solid second pair guy after Edler retires. So imagine this season, 1 year of Hughes, Edler, and Dillon with Rathbone and Ulevi knocking on the door, and then Edler goes, one of Rathbone or Ulevi steps up, and then your Brendan Dillon is your second pairing guy. Jamie, I like OEL, but his contract is too long, over $8 million. How about a Sammy Vatanen or Brendan Dillon? Both would be a lot cheaper. Yes, both would be a lot cheaper, and they'd be good. I like those players a lot, although Vatanen gets hurt a lot. Simon, about your followers and their ages you wrote down, you should also write down their gender to see what the male-female ratio of your follower is. Simon, great point. I can already tell. Looking at this list, I think there's only 2 females. Anula, I know is a female, and everyone else on this list, and my horrible writing is a guy. I know HSM Fangirl Gaming is a female because I've spoken with her live on before. I didn't get her age, but yes, I think most of my viewers are males for sure. Duffman, what up, Clay? What up, Duffman? Thanks for being here. Dexter, I'm so glad I don't have school on the first day of free agency. Yeah, I'm going to try and mysteriously not book a lot of meetings on Friday, I think. TFK Louis, what is your option on moving Besser to solve the cap issue? I, for one, or probably what is your opinion on moving Besser to solve the cap issue? I, for one, am okay with the thought Canucks window to win his next few years. Sitting on the fence because the cap issue will kill that window. Yeah, but I don't think, I think if you trade Besser away, you're going to be looking for a top six forward to replace him. And what is he? He's a top six forward. So I think he can still be a big part of this team. So I actually would not trade him, although yes, his qualifying offer after 2 years will be in the $7.5 million range. But who knows what the Canucks look like at that point. Edmund, with Holtby, kind of reminds me of the Ed Belfour going to Toronto back in the day. A couple of decent seasons and could be surprised. Him having a cup, a plus in my opinion. Well, it hasn't done much with Jay Beagle, but yes, Brendan Holtby also won that cup with Washington. And yeah, he could still be good. I think there's definitely gas in the tank still. Luis, do you think Louis is in the mix of the OEL trade talks? I believe he probably, we're betting, I'm sure is offered, Erickson. I'm not sure how much of an appetite there is to bring him back there. Oh yes, and HSF Fangirl Gaming says, don't forget about Isles girl, Kim. Yes, Kim has popped on here once in a while, especially during the playoffs, and she is a female as well, obviously. Nahal, is free agency October 9th? It is. Hi, Vlay. Clay, thank you. Hi, Nahal. Edmund, I believe Monday Canucks will buy out a player. I think it's going to be Sutter or Berchi. We will see. We will see, Edmund. Joshua, hi, Clay. Hello, Joshua, fellow member of the GLCPC. Oh, there we go. Is it tough being so positive and good looking still in the off season? No, I think I've mastered the art of both, Josh. I'm just kidding. Obviously, I'm always positive. It's kind of the way I live my life. And the good lookingness, that's a matter of opinion, but I think so. So it's not tough, but it might not be true either. How's that? Now, do you think Besser will be involved in an OEL trade? I don't want Besser to leave, especially for an older player. No, I don't think Besser is part of those talks. I really don't. I think the Canucks don't want to move him. Luis, how long do you think Tampa will keep their current core? It might even blow up this year because we know that they don't have a lot of money, and they have at least Cirelli and Sergachev and a couple others to re-sign. So often you see teams kind of not blow up their core, but at least are willing to say bye to pieces. And the Tampa Bay wants to reload. They could trade a few guys for picks and prospects now that they've won their cup. So, their true core of Stamkos, Vasilevsky, Hedman, and Kucherov, they'll be there for years still. It's kind of like the secondary pieces that are tough to sign because as they get better, they're going to want more money. And we know that the cap is not increasing. Edmund Lundqvist, I think, could be a good signing if Mark leaves. Great mentor to Demko, DiPietro for a couple seasons. My instincts tell me he might go to the Flames, though. Yeah, I think both Alberta teams are going to be in on this goalie market for sure. Rios, hey, what's up, Clay? I'm great, Rios. What's up with you? Rob, hi, Clay. What does it say on your shirt? We can only see the top half. It's lyrics to a song. It says, and love will hold us together, make us a shelter to weather the storm, and I'll be my brother's keeper so the whole world will know that we're not alone. Matt Maher is a pretty famous Catholic Christian artist. She's a good friend of mine. I like to name drop. And yeah, that's what my shirt says. I actually wear it a lot. It's kind of in my t-shirt rotation with my Canucks t-shirt. So if not that you guys would notice what I wear, but I actually wear this at least once a week in my vlogs. But thank you for asking, Rob. Zed, I'll say Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Oh yeah, thank you, Zed. You have the shortest name, the shortest screen name, but maybe that's why you weren't afraid to type out the whole name. Thank you for that. That was funny. Nick, do you think the Canucks will trade for Tannen for a higher draft pick? I think that's a possibility if they don't plan on re-signing him as an RFA. Maybe you get a third. At the highest, you get a second. You're not going to get a first round draft pick for Jake Virtanen, but maybe you get a second or a third, and that's better than nothing, right? And should Nucks try to bring back Tramkin? Some people would say so. You guys know, I'm not a big Tramkin fan. I think he's a tad bit overrated. We're going to be set on our left side for a while, but maybe he actually can play both sides of the blue line, meaning like left and right, not up and back, like in front of it, behind it. So maybe, but I don't know. There's just something about it. It hasn't been smooth, and maybe excuse me, went down the wrong pipe. His Tramkin's career with the Canucks has not been smooth. So there's just something about it that doesn't feel right. So that's just me. Rios, I would like if the Canucks got a first. This draft is really good. Yes, but how are you going to get one? It's pretty tough, actually. And there's a fangirl says, don't forget about Kim. Thank you. Tom, why don't they try to go after Alex Pietrangelo instead of trying to trade for OEL, yes. Pietrangelo, he is a free agent as opposed to a player under contract. So he maybe, I don't know how much he's worth, maybe in the 5, 6, 7 million, who knows, $6 or $7 million range. Right side instead of left, so he seems a little more attractive, doesn't he? Rios, Pietrangelo's asking for 10 million. Okay, maybe that's why then. I didn't know that. Wow. I didn't know Pietrangelo was asking for that much. Jamie, you talked about Ulevi and Rathbone earlier today. How about Brogan Rafferty making the team? Jamie, thank you. So thank you, whether you saw my tweet or you actually watched the video. Jamie, I appreciate that. Rafferty, I think, is almost a lock to play on the right side, especially if Tanev and Stetcher both leave. Then you only have Tyler Myers on your right. Jordy Ben can swing over to the right. And then you have Brogan Rafferty. We heard at the end of last season or at the end of the season that just ended, how they're making plans for Rafferty to step up. So I think Rafferty could be a third pairing right side guy. Could one of Ulevi and Rathbone be left side guy? But then would you want to play a third pairing of two of the next three of Ulevi, Rafferty, and Rathbone? Or is that too inexperienced for you? Or maybe you have to switch it up. But that's, again, I think Rafferty comes in if one of Tanev or Stetcher leave. You could go with Myers, Tanev / Stetcher, and then Rafferty as your third pairing guy. Great question, Jamie. So how you doing? Could possibly give $9 million to Pietrangelo? Yeah, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Edmund, if Eriksson does get traded, do you think he'll be dealt for a similar bad contract like Lucic or Neal? Yes, Lucic's for Neal. Yeah, I think it's got to be money for sure. Fangirl, it's just so weird that we're talking about the offseason in October. Normally, we would be in preseason, and season would have started this week most likely. Yeah, I think last year the Canucks' first game was on October 3rd, which is yesterday. Simon, which Tampa Bay Stanley Cup winning team do you think is the better team? 04 2020. Yeah, 04 had like Le Cavalier, St. Louis. I can't even remember who's on that team now, but I just remember those two guys for sure. It's so tough to say because I know way more about hockey now than I do then. You can't argue. Oh gosh, Le Cavalier was such a good player though. Was skilled and fast and big. Whereas, how do you argue with Hedman, Kucherov, and Stamkos? Maybe it's recency bias, Simon, but I'm gonna go with this team right now. Bob, Tyler Myers is my cousin. Awesome, Bob. Say hi to him for us. That's pretty cool. Now, it's Clay. I saw on Instagram that Benning is talking to the media tomorrow morning, and we are expecting a move being made by him. Yeah, I know about that he's talking to the media. I don't know if we should expect a move then, but we'll see. Maybe. That's exciting, actually. Phil, Clay, Pearson should move to the third line. We need more offense from the second line. Can't rely on one line to score. Winger should also be a priority this offseason. Yeah, but I hear what you're saying, but Pearson at least is a decent cost. He's only got one more left on his contract. And if you don't like him after this season, you can just walk away from him. But I do want to see a more extended look of Pearson and Toffoli if he re-signs with Horvat as their center. Then you can keep Pettersson, Besser, and Miller together. But I hear what you're saying. We want to see more from him. Joshua, sounds like JB is trying to make an OEL move to free up cap space to sign Markey and Toffoli. To make an OEL move to free up cap space. So Josh, you're gonna have to explain that to me, because if he's bringing OEL in, isn't that $8 million? But let me know what you mean by that. Maybe I'm misinterpreting what you're saying. But yes, I do know he's trying to sign Markey and Toffoli. Rios, OEL is an $8 million contract himself. Oh, okay, I see now. Joshua says Arizona would retain some. Obviously, the Canucks would move out Eriksson a couple more. So I see what Josh is saying. Let's say, for instance, Arizona retains 2.5. We have to pay the 5.75, and we ship Eriksson out. So the money that we're paying Eriksson goes to OEL. I hear what you're saying. We'll see. HS Van Girl, I'll say my age. I'm 24. Okay, I got to write that down in the young adult column. HSM Fangirl 24. All right. Zed says, good night, Clay. Got to sleep. School tomorrow. Sounds good, Zed. Way to, that's good. You got your priorities straight. Unlike all these other, they're not degenerates. I'm just kidding. I appreciate everyone being here for as long as they can. And Josh says, Arizona would retain some, obviously, and the Canucks would move out Eriksson a couple more. Yes. Edmund, next time we see Gary Bettman with the crowd, I think he deserves a lot of praise in terms of handling the NHL bubble. It was well done, so he's got my respect, and I don't like the guy too. Yeah, I think a lot of people feel the same way, Edmund. They probably don't like him, but they probably respect him. And but they're still gonna boom because that's the thing to do. By the way, I think you guys know the story. You've seen my picture when I met Gary Bettman at the January 2019 All-Star Game in San Jose. He was taller than me, which was embarrassing. It was very embarrassing. And maybe it's because he looks short because he's always standing next to huge hockey players. But I think he's 5'8" or 5'9", and I'm only 5'6". So Bettman is taller than me. And I think he's a lot richer too. Not that it's about money. Simon, 2004 Tampa Bay roster had LeCavalier, St. Louis, Richards, Habibulin, Boyle, Andrechuk. Richards was the Conn Smythe winner. Yeah, that's good. And you could probably match guys up, right? You could say it's Kucherov, Stamkos, Point are the three forwards, like LeCavalier, St. Louis, and Richards. Obviously, Vasilevsky is Habibulin, Hedman is Boyle, and then who's a gritty forward for them? I guess it could be Johnson, Cirelli, it could be Andrechuk. Yeah, that's a good comparison. Matt. Hi, Matt. How are you? If Eriksson for OEL is our Lucic for Neil, then sign me up, assuming Arizona retains a bit. Yeah, that's what Joshua was saying as well. But would Arizona do that, though? Like, would you do that if you were the Arizona GM? I wouldn't. I don't know. TFK Louis, my thought to package Besser with a Beagle contract, get a late first rounder back, easily turn that first rounder as a sweetener to move Louis' contract. So package Besser with a Beagle, get a late first rounder back, turn that first rounder as a sweetener to move Louis' contract. You can sign Toffoli and replace the top six. Okay. So Toffoli, and then we'll replace Besser. You still need a right winger, whether that's Levo or Virtanen, I guess. Good thinking. I like that thought process. Thank you. Cap crunch solved, and enough cap to make a run in OEL. Okay. I like that thinking. That was creative. That was good. And it wasn't any like creative pie in the sky. This is impossible. That makes sense, actually. Fangirl. At least Gary won't get booed this draft. Yes, that's true. Tyler. Fun fact. As people know, Troy is from Richmond. So am I. And when I was a kid, him and his dad lived in my complex. That's cool. Was even friends with my grandma before he moved and he was drafted. That is a cool story, Tyler. That's awesome. Reels. Who do you think the Canucks sign this free agent? Who are they going to go after? I think they're going to go after a defenseman, especially if they don't want to re-sign Tanev or Stetcher. And it might not be as expensive as Ekman Larson. So, there are guys that on the right side, like Brody, like Hamanuk, Tyson Berry, but those guys are all going to be like $4.5 million guys. The same money we would play Tanev, but you can get a bit younger. So that's my guess is they're going to go after a right shot D-man. Nick, do you think Podkolzin will replace Pearson when his contract is up? Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think Podkolzin will play wing and could replace a guy like Pearson for sure, and a lot cheaper, obviously. Great point. Manpreet, hey Clay, how are you doing? I'm great, Manpreet, thank you. Hope you're doing well. What are the odds the Canucks trade for OEL? I've been back and forth. At first, when I first mentioned it on Wednesday in my vlog, I didn't think it was that high. Then I thought there's a lot of buzz around it on Friday. Now I'm not so sure. I wouldn't handicap it as 50-50, maybe almost 2/3, 1/3, 66-33 that we don't trade for him. I just think there's a lot of moving parts that the Canucks might not be ready to get together. So that's my thought. I'd say 2/3, 1/3 no. Tom, I met Mark Schmidt, Oak Ridge Center. He's a great guy. I hope he doesn't leave. Yeah, I also tweeted about it a few weeks ago. My really good friends saw him at a restaurant in Yaletown and bought him a beer. And Mark Schmidt was really, really cool about it. So, yeah, he is a good guy. But it's got to be a hockey and business decision too. Phil, how good is Rafferty defensively? I know he has some offense in his game. He's okay. He's not amazing, but he's kind of like an older rookie. He's 24, 25 years old. He'll be okay, but he's not going to be an all-star. He's going to be a third pairing guy for sure. Joshua, Louis has already been paid the majority of his cash, just a large cap hit. Arizona loves those cheap deals that bring them to cap floor. Yeah, no, that's true. I think Eriksson is only owed $4 million in cash over the next 2 years, but his cap hit is $12 million, obviously $6 million a year. Good point, Josh. Fangirl, if the Canucks don't want Trampkin, he has no trade value. What are their options? Nothing. You kind of just let him do his thing, truly. Because if you bring him over here and he doesn't make the team, he's probably just going to leave instead of reporting to Utica. But we'll see. Rios says, I hope he goes to Boston. Talking about OEL. Manpreet, I know OEL is a massive contract. If we can make it work, why not? Think about what could have been if OEL was on the team versus Vegas. Oh yeah, he's a great player, and like there are a few people that are worried about him declining. But as I said, I think that's because he's playing on a poor Arizona team. I think he could thrive here. He's not like he's over the hill yet. He's only 29, so I think it's one of those where the next 3 or 4 years would look good. It might be his last 2 or 3 years that we might not be happy with. But that's why I think a lot of people would be excited to see him on this team. Rio, sign Tanev rather than OEL. Then, we need more help on our right side than our left side. Sonny says, hey, everyone. Hey, Sonny, thanks for coming. And Will G retracted his message. And I'm caught up. Well, and we have 43 people actually on here. So I'm not rushing off. Don't worry, I'm not going to go do that. You can type anything you want. I'm saying bye. No, we'll go for another 15 minutes for sure. Will, are you worried that the Canucks haven't announced any signings yet? Good question, Will. I've talked about this on my vlog a lot. I'm not worried. I'm not anxious. I do want to see. I have a lot of anticipation. I want to see what happens. Not just so I have content for the vlog, but I want to see the Canucks get moving. But there are a lot of teams in the Canucks situation against the cap, and there hasn't been aside from the 3 goalie signings today and the trade for Olli Maatta today, the 3 goalie signings yesterday and the Olli Maatta trade today. There hasn't been a lot going on actually, and then of course the Mark Stahl and Lundqvist moves. But still, there hasn't been a lot considering how much needs to be done. But I think it's going to be rapid fire starting tomorrow. I really do. Fangirl, I don't think OEL would fit in the Canucks team anyway. I disagree with that. Depends what you mean. I think he'd be fine both on the ice and in the locker room. So he seems like one of those, like Edler, like Markstrom, a humble, Pettersson, a humble Swede with good leadership skills. Manpreet, OEL for Sutter, Juolevi, 2021 first, and Lind, let's win a cup. So you fulfilled actually what I talked about. There's your player, Sutter. There's your prospect, Juolevi. There's your pick, 2021 first, and Colin for the heck of it. Would I do that? Juolevi, Lind, and a 2021 first. I don't know. That's a lot. That's a lot, Manpreet. Simon, Coyotes only have $3 million in cap space, so they don't have to worry about reaching the cap floor. Yeah, I made that mistake in a vlog too. Actually, presuming that the Caps need. Coyote needs to get the cap floor. No, they're up against the cap just like we are. There are a lot of teams up against the cap. Us, Arizona, Tampa. There are plenty. Rios, this was a comment on Lego Rock's video. If you're in grade 6, you'll be in university when the OEL contract is done. That's pretty funny. That is pretty funny. Sonny, do you think Markey is going to resign? If he doesn't, will Demko be ready? I do think Demko will be ready regardless of Markey signs. And I still, even, last week I was singing a different tune, but it sounds like they're still trying to get done with Markey. So maybe he does resign. But who knows? This is going down the wire for sure. Brennan, hey boss. Hello, Brennan. Thanks for being here. Rios, he's a Swede like our whole team. Well, our Swede ratio kind of took a drop after the Sedins retired, but then replaced by Pettersson. HSM Fangirl, let's just remember that a team can win the cup. It doesn't win the President's Trophy. Of course, yes, because only one team wins. Yes, the President's Trophy winning team does not always win the cup, and we've proven that a couple times. Phil, Canucks should just wait on bad contracts to end and add what they can during free agency, resign Toffoli and Stetcher, bring up Juolevi and Rafferty. Phil, I agree with everything you said there, actually. There will be out of these... Well, Berchi's 1 more year, Sutter's 1 more year, Roussel's 1 more year, and I think Beagle and Erickson are 2 more years. So do we have that much patience? But yeah, I'd resign Toffoli and Stetcher as well. I'd take Stetcher over Tanev, actually. And then I know Tanev's technically a better player, but you think of the money savings. And Juolevi and Rafferty, yes, they'll both be fighting for a spot in the team along with Jack Rathbone. Nick, do you think the Jordy Ben trade could happen this offseason to clear up cap space? Yeah, $2 million of cap for Jordy Ben, but how much value does he have? But maybe you trade him for a mid to late round pick just to free up some space, especially if you want to make room for Rafferty, Rathbone, and Juolevi. Justin, would you trade a Besser considering his injury history and his value being high now, resign it to Toffoli and make him a short-term offer at Hall for 1 or 2 years? I don't think Taylor Hall will take 1 or 2 years, Justin. And I hear what you're saying about Besser's trading injury history, but I still keep Besser. I don't trade Besser. I really, really like him. Sonny, don't you think if they sign OEL, it wouldn't be worth it? He'll start declining 3 or 4 years, and that's when the Canucks have the best chance of winning a cup. Same goes with Toffoli. Yeah, I don't want good point. I don't want Toffoli to be too long of a contract. And OEL, that's tough. But who knows when he's going to start declining. And some would argue that the Canucks should try and go for cup in the next 3 years as opposed to 4 or 5 years. So that's a tough one, but that's a fair comment as well. So I hear a lot of people wanting us to trade for OEL. I hear a lot of others saying don't. Brendan, Clay, when are we going to see some trades or signings? Your guess is as good as mine. I've been saying that for the past 3 weeks. It's true, Manpreet. I can see OEL get 60-plus points. Well, that's a lot. Not a lot of defensemen get that, especially if he's not getting first power play time here. That's huge a spot. Michael, don't you think OEL would fit in as much as Miller has? I can't see why not. Yotes aren't a good team, so imagine what he could do on one. Yeah, Michael, I default to that. I think he'll fit in fine, and I think he'll play fine. It just matters, is the term and money worth it? Real says, bruh. I said, bruh. Sonny, is the 2020 going to be the best Canucks team in this decade? No way. We're going to be better. We're going to be better. We're going to be better when, we're going to be the best when Podkolzin and Hoglander have played 2 or 3 seasons, when Pettersson and Hughes are in their prime, Besser's lighten up, and Demko's, I think we can be a much better team even than this year. Rios, OEL can pull a Miller. He could. Manpreet, so happy the rebuild is done. Yeah, I think Pedersen and Hughes have helped speed that up for sure. Fangirl, what value does Sutter have? Not much, but a team looking for some veteran leadership might take a flyer, and he had a good postseason. Maybe like a truly low draft pick right now. Sonny, Berkshire was a legit top 6 player a couple years ago. Don't you think he can fit in the top 6 if someone gets injured? If not the middle 6, then why not they do that? Yeah, there's just a complicated history between the Canucks and Berkshire, and they've tried to get him through waivers and no takers. He said some, he's expressed his frustration. I don't see Berkshire being back on the Canucks. Simon, lots of posts about OEL. Indeed. Fangirl, I just can't wait till the Canucks hoist the cup. Me too. Marvin says OEL as well. TFK Louis, OEL can play in his mid-30s and still plays well. That is how big Swede D works, i.e. Edler. Yes, true. Patrick, do you think Vancouver has become a much more popular destination for UFAs or players that want to trade like OEL? Absolutely. Who would not? The Canucks made it to the final 8, last Canadian team, exceeded expectations. Who would not want to go to a team that has Pedersen, Hughes, Besser, Horvat, Miller, Demko, Markstrom, hopefully, perhaps. We'll see. Yep, I think they are a destination team for sure. Phil, Clay, what do you think happens to Furlan next season? You got to give him every chance to play, but I have a feeling he's going to get hurt and then go on the shelf again. I don't want that to happen. I just have a feeling that's going to happen. But we'll see. He could be a difference maker too. It's really too bad. Marka, why don't the Canucks put Berkshire in the lineup? I think he plays too soft for Travis Green's style. Daz Money, not sure if you spoke on this, but how likely is the Canucks sign a D-man no one even had on the Canucks radar, like a Chernak, similar to the Miller trade. Also hope your night is doing great. Thank you, Daz Money. I'm doing great. I hope you are as well. Yeah, I've touched on this a little bit. You could get guys that are a lot cheaper than Ekman Larson or Pietrangelo. And I know a lot of people have been on this offer sheet Eric Chernak train. So we'll see what happens. The cost is only a future second rounder, which is a pretty good cost for already a top 4 D-man for sure. Phil, Furlan and McEwen makes Rantanen somewhat expendable. I agree with that, Phil. Fangirl, what was the best trade that Gillis did? The best trade that Gillis did. Well, Horvat for Schneider worked out pretty well in hindsight. So maybe that's the one I'm thinking about right now, because the Naslin trade was done by wasn't him. That was way a long time ago. Yeah, maybe the Horvat for Schneider trade, or maybe that's the only one I can think about right now. Tom, hey Clay, how many Canucks jerseys do you have? A few, not a lot actually. I have Blackskate, Hughes, Pedersen, Horvat, Besser. Those are the current players. So I have 4 current players, the core 4. Then I do have Bo Sedins. I have Luongo. I have a Markstrom. And I have a David Booth. Sorry, not a Markstrom, Miller. And I have a David Booth out of all players. So I guess that's 9. Actually, when it comes to Canucks paraphernalia, I have a lot of T-shirts and a lot of hoodies, actually. I think the hoodies and jackets are the strength of my Canucks collection. But yes, I guess I have 9 jerseys. So it's not nothing, but it's not major. I only have jerseys of 4 of the current players. Why, Tom? How many do you have? Actually, for everyone, type in how many Canucks jerseys you have in the comment box. I'd love to know what you guys have out there. And don't worry, I won't confuse it with your age. Manpreet, I thought Sven played great in the exhibition game. Sven and Bo made a solid 1-2 punch. Yeah, they're okay. I think maybe his time has passed. Nick, do you truly see this era winning a Stanley Cup? I really believe in this team's future. I do. And there's that joke when I said it would be 4 to 5 years, and Thomas Drance was making fun of me when I interviewed him on Zoom, and he kept saying that was way too long. But it's hard to win a cup. We've seen that. We saw that this year. But yes, I do think that this team can win a Stanley Cup. Sonny, if you were an emergency goalie for the Canucks and we're playing against Detroit, how many saves would you make? Okay, if I was playing a full game and I had defense in front of me and I'm playing against Detroit, I'm not, every time I go down, they're going to score on me. I'd say I'd make 15 saves. Is that way too high? 5 a period. That's because I think I could save some from the point. Even if they blast it hard, if I'm fully padded, I can still get I'm not afraid to get my body in front of a puck. So I'm going to say I'm going to make 15 saves, presuming a 30 shot night. I'm going to That means I let in 15 goals. That's not so good. That's a save percentage of 500, but I'm going to make 15 saves. That's good. That's a good question. I like these hypothetical questions. Will, is there any benefit for players to play in the Canadian market? Tax sucks. So COVID notwithstanding, the tax sucks. But if you want to be in, like, Vancouver's a beautiful city, some people might want to play in a hockey hotbed like Toronto, Montreal. So I think there are benefits for sure. That's why there are free agents that do sign here. Patrick, Clay, would you survive a 10-second shift in the NHL? Yeah, I would, Patrick. But it depends. Like, as long as that guy doesn't blow me up for no reason, like, that would be an interference penalty, right? A guy's not just going to steamroll me across the... So I could easily do a 10-second shift, especially if the puck's, like, say, in the offensive end. I could jump over the boards, like, skate to the blue line, skate back. That would probably take me 10 seconds, and then I'm done. But that would be fun, actually. Actually, it's funny. My son Sean and I were talking about if one of us played one-on-one against LeBron, would we score any points? And I say no, because we're not going to drive on him. We're not going to shoot over him. I think the only way you score on someone like LeBron one-on-one is if, when you check the ball and they check it back to you, as soon as you get it, you just huck it and hope that it goes in. I think that's the only way that I would score on LeBron. Those are kind of funny questions. Fangirl, what's your favorite Chinese food to eat if you eat Chinese food? Well, I like Japanese food way better than Chinese food. But if I eat Chinese food, I do like black cod. Or cod and cod and black bean sauce. I do like that, actually. And I do like Peking duck, the duck skin inside of the doughy outside. Yeah, but I'm not a big Chinese food eater. Sonny, I'm using all my data to watch your live. Oh, Sonny, save your data. Forget it. This isn't worth it. Sonny, save your data, man. But thank you. That means a lot. Edmund, best trade from Gillis, Christian Ehrhoff. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one, Edmund. That was an excellent trade. Justin, what do you think Pittsburgh does with Murray now that Jerry has signed and Fleury has made it known he wants to go back to Pittsburgh? Oh, I didn't know about that Fleury back to Pittsburgh, but I think that Murray was done as soon as they signed Tristan Jerry. They're only 1 year apart. I know that, but Murray, it's crazy. What does 2 Stanley Cup get you right now? I guess they get you a ticket out of town. But I think that they try and trade the rights to Murray for sure. Marca, we had Berchi at the start of the season, though why not in the postseason? We needed some more shots, especially in Game 7 versus Vegas. You saw how tough it was to get to the net against Vegas. Berchi's simply not the type of player. He doesn't really go to the gritty areas. Yes, he has skill, but I don't think he would be the difference maker. It sounds like you like him a lot, which is fine, but I just think his time has passed here. Sonny, out of all your Canucks jerseys, which one would you keep? If I could only keep one, I'd probably keep my Quinn Hughes black skate jersey. It's my favorite right now. Andrew, yes, Gillis Ehrhoff trade was a steal. Indeed. Brennan, in your opinion, why did the Canucks lose the cup in 2011? Everyone, including media, says they were beat up with injuries. Was that it? Yeah, the Dan Hamhuis injury was a big one. Malhotra, missing him for most of the series. That was a big one. Aaron Rome suspension, then you have to put Andre Alberts in instead of Aaron Rome. I do think, I'm not just saying this, I'm not a poor sport, but I do think we were the better team. I think they could have beat Boston if they were healthy, but I think that Hamhuis injury, like they're missing Hamhuis and then Aaron Rome on the back end. So those are two big losses there. Fangirl Gaming, is the current Canucks contract Crosby on his last, or does he resign or sign somewhere else? I don't see Crosby going anywhere else. I don't know how long he's got on his contract though, to be honest with you. Sonny says, I have 4 jerseys. Will has 2. Paulo Alto, I have 10. Nice. Brennan, have you also hunted a bear like David Booth? No. When I got the David Booth jersey, I liked him because he was a Christian. He was a good player. And then he was here. He was a little weird. But I do have one. Edmund, 4 jerseys. PD, Blue Orca, alternate jersey, West Coast Express, and Millionaires. Nice, Edmund. That's a good variety. Brennan, next year they don't do as good. Then the following year they go to the finals. Okay. We'll see. 1 step back, 2 steps forward, or whatever it is. Jamie, Gino Ojic jersey, Patrick Sundstrom. Jamie, Patrick Sundstrom was my favorite player in the 80s. That's awesome. Tony Tanti jersey and Thomas Cardine jersey. Awesome. Yeah, why bother getting modern jerseys when you have those? Those are pretty sweet, Jamie. And I remember, Jamie, you are... Oh, I thought I wrote it down last time. Jamie, how old are you? I don't have you down on my list here. So, Jamie Hunt, if you're still here... give me your age, because I have a feeling you told me that you're older, and given that you just named Ojic, Sundstrom, Tanti, and Gradine, I think you are older. But Jamie, I want to add you to my age list for sure. So let's see if you do that. Rob, I have 5. One is a Linden one. I got a secondhand store for $20. Nice. 52. Thanks, Jamie. Jamie. 52. Awesome. Patrick, I wish Gillis didn't trade Hodgson for Cassian. Yeah. Sweet like of Zach and Cody for sure. Rob, maybe Clay, you should be Demko's backup this year. Well, I'd come cheap. I'm sure they'd try and pay me less than the league minimum. I think by standing there, I'm pretty fat. So by standing there, I could probably save a few, but no. But thank you for that. I did have to play goalie once when but with no pads. Oh, why did this chair just drop? On our roller hockey team, our goalie didn't show, so we played with, it's 4-on-4, so we played with 5 skaters, but I was basically the goalie because I stayed back in our own end. I never went to the other zone. And I think the other team actually felt bad for me, so they didn't really whip it at me, but I was not that good. But then again, I wasn't wearing goalie equipment, right? Simon, which NBA team do you think will win in the finals? In the past 10 seasons, LeBron has made the finals 9 times with 3 different teams, which is crazy. Yeah, I think the Lakers will win. Miami played really well today. Jimmy Butler was amazing, but I think it's still the Lakers will win. And you can't argue with LeBron to win potentially titles with three different teams, and it's amazing. It's amazing. Tom, I have 3 jerseys: Ryan Kessler, Corey Schneider, and Elias Pettersson. Ooh, a nice mix there. Sonny, I think you could get 50 shots shut out against Detroit. Thank you, Sonny. You're too kind. Fangirl, what's your favorite play that Ham Hughes did for the Canucks? I remember a lot of his hip checks for sure. I remember him. Was it him or Willie Mitchell that laid out Jonathan Taves at center ice? Do you guys remember that? Taves came out of the penalty box. I think it was Willie Mitchell actually, not Dan Ham Hughes. So I can't remember a lot of offensive plays immediately by Ham Hughes, but I do remember his hip checks, and I remember his smooth skating for sure. Brennan, if you were the head coach, who would be your captain other than Horvat? And should Hughes and PD be assistants in the future? I think in the future, PD and Hughes will be the assistants. If I was if I was the coach and there was no Horvat, given what I saw this season, I'd say JT Miller. I thought Miller was great. He was decent with the media. He wasn't awesome with the media. He can be a little bit abrupt, but he obviously leads with this play, and he has a good will to win. So I'd say JT Miller, even though he's only been here a year. Sonny, would you drop the gloves if you played in the NHL? Not a chance. Because I get pummeled and I'm not fast enough to skate away from whoever I was fighting. How you doing? Clay should suit up in net in case both our goaltenders get injured during a home game. You'd not want to see that, and we'd have 18,000 fans or maybe 2,000 fans, depending how many you're allowed there, demanding a refund. Phil, is the NHL planning on bubble season this coming season? No, I don't think they'll go to bubble. If anything, they'll go to regional divisions. Michael, not enough can be said about how finally players actually want to come to Vancouver to play and even possibly stay for lower dollar and not want to leave. Yes, Michael, I agree with that. And it was like that when the Sedins were here. Then it probably wasn't like that for the past 5-6 years, and now it's like that again, hopefully. Nick, what's been your proudest moment, favorite memory as a Canucks fan? Great question. I was there when the Sedins played their final home game. That game will always stand out to me as pretty memorable. Oliver Ekman-Larsson was on the ice for Phoenix, for Arizona when that happened. But I think that game also, many of you know the story that Sean and I were fortunate to go down and be in the tunnel and fist bump all the players as they walk by. So I think that's my favorite memory as a Canucks fan, for sure. Also being in the arena for the Slay the Dragon goal was pretty cool, and the BX stanchion goal that sent it to the finals. Sonny, would you do Miller for Larkin? Yeah, I probably would, given how young. Miller's not that old though. Actually, I should. But Larkin's such a good player and he's younger. Yeah, I think I would. If I could only pick one player, I'd probably pick Larkin. Fangirl, hopefully we hear when the next season starts soon. I'm getting anxious to hear news about that. Yeah, it sounds like January. Sonny, out of the 4 Canucks core, who would you let go for free? Well, if I had to pick one, it would be Besser. If I had to pick one. Because it's not Petey, it's not Hughes, and it's not, I think we need Horvat's leadership. So if I had to pick one, it would be Besser. Paul Alto, Schneider trade was the best because it was ballsy and was combined by great drafting. He was criticized so much for it, but it worked out. Ehrhoff trade was a salary dump by San Jose. Yeah, but still a good trade for us. They could have dumped Ehrhoff to anyone, and it was us. Sonny, would you have a prime Crosby or McDavid? Oh, prime Crosby's pretty tough to beat. His leadership. He doesn't maybe have the speed McDavid has, but I'd say he's the overall better player and better leader. But you can't go wrong with either guy. TFK Louis, Chris Higgins for Evan Oberg, and a pick was good trade by Gillis. Higgins played well during a cup run. Yeah, I didn't even know that I can't remember that trade. That's a good one. How you doing, Clay? You forgot about Raymond in 2011 when he was fast and speedy. Yes, Mason Raymond was part of that team, and then he got hurt, unfortunately. But yeah, he was good. Simon Crosby has 5 more years left on his contract at $88.7 million a year. His jersey number. 5 more years. Wow, I didn't know that. Jamie says 52. Thank you. Oliver, I got a Burrows jersey and a Kessler jersey. Nice. Sonny, I think Louis Eriksson will pick up the cup first when they win cups out of respect. You mean Horvat passes it to Captain gets it, so it'll be Horvat passing it to Louis. But we got to win it in the next 2 seasons. Then they'll make him captain. Gary, do signing bonus count against the salary cap? That's a good question. I think it does because it must. It must. Someone would correct me. Actually, I don't even know that. Does signing bonus count against the cap? I should know this. You'd think it would. Otherwise, you can just cheat and give a guy a huge bonus. Yeah, it must. Otherwise, you can cheat and give a guy a huge bonus. Here's $5 million, but your cap hit's only $1 million. No, I don't think that makes sense. I'm pretty sure it does. Justin, I have 13 Canucks jerseys at the moment. Wow, want to snag a Peter Hughes though. Wow, that's impressive, Justin. Nick, I have Pedersen, no name, Millionaires, Luongo. Sorry, I have a Pedersen, a no name, Millionaires, Luongo, Schneider. Thinking of my next jersey being Quinn Hughes. Those are good. Edmund Gillis getting Higgins. Lapierre was underrated move, I would say. Yes, 2 instrumental parts of our team in the 2011 Cup run. Fangirl, how did you know about The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody? I watched that show when I was younger. Yeah, my kids used to watch it, so I have some pop culture knowledge, Fangirl. Not a lot, but some. Edmund, it was Mitchell. I remember that same game Grabner got his first NHL goal. Yes, Mitchell hit Taves. Thank you. Justin, Clay should be the 2021 David Ayers against the Leafs. We'll see. Yeah. No, but I don't want to beat the Canucks. That's funny. Dominic, hi, will we get Brendan Dillon? Not sure. Not sure. He said the right things, like he wants to come back to his hometown, but I'm not sure if that's a priority for the Canucks right now. Jamie, the way Puckhosen plays, I could see him being an assistant one day. We'll see. Early to say, but true. Brennan, Clay, you've interviewed some top media people on your channel. You should get a player or former player on. Yeah, thank you, Brennan. Yes, the current players are tough to get, but I think I may start to go after a few former players. I know some people who have been doing that. But yeah, that might be kind of cool. But thank you for that affirmation, Brennan. Fangirl, I remember in 2011, I was supposed to be in bed, and it was during a Canucks playoff game. Instead of watching TV, I listened to the radio to not make a lot of noise. That's smart. That's good thinking. TFK, Miller, greater than Larkin. Miller can drop his gloves as he has to. Yeah, I think Larkin's more skilled there. Miller's 3 years older than Larkin. Yeah, that 3 years makes a big difference for me. Fangirl, I also remember 2014 when I couldn't go back to sleep just before the gold medal game. Instead of watching it on TV, I listened to it on the Olympic app, then woke up for the medal ceremony. That's nice. That's smart. You're a big fan. Hot take. Hello, John. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here. And your channel's still rocking. Good job, John. And thanks for being here, Hot Take. Edmund, any update for Zoom interviews? No, Edmund, actually, I haven't done much in terms of planning for Zoom interviews yet. I think I'm going to do that once this next 2 weeks of free agency and signings dies down, once it picks up. It hasn't really been going crazy right now. But yeah, it's something, even if I do it once a week or once every 2 weeks, it's not hard to do. And I think people really enjoy those. I know you do, Edmund. So thank you for that. And for everyone else who enjoys those Zoom interviews, I will get back to it soon for sure. It's kind of funny. Podcast world, everyone's competing to get guests and stuff where not a lot of people are doing video interviews. So I think that's something that I can use as my niche, continue to build as my niche. Phil says, how much cap space the Canucks have to spend this offseason, assuming they let Markstrom and Tanev go? Right now, they only have about 18 million or so, but assuming 15 to 18 million, I can't remember the exact number now. If they let Markstrom and Tanev go, then now you're up to about $25 million. Brennan, you and the hockey guys should do a hockey talk. Yeah, I'm not sure if the hockey guy's into collabs, but we'll see. Dominic, by the way, I'm new here, but I used to live in Burnaby. I live in Calgary now, but Canucks for life. Awesome, Dominic. Thanks for being here. I know you're an hour ahead of us, so thank you. Sonny, will the Canucks win a President's Trophy in the future? Yeah, they will. But future, it could be 20 years from now. So near future, I'm not so sure. Edmund, makes sense. Most hockey guys are focusing on the free agency stuff. Makes sense if you wait, though. Yeah, I do. I think I'll wait a couple weeks. Nick, do you think the Canucks will honor Roberto Luongo? And if so, Ring of Honor or jersey retirement? I've heard people say both. Some say jersey, but he already got his jersey retired in Florida. Some say Ring of Honor because of that. Others say, no, you got to retire his jersey. He's the best goaltender you ever had. Some say he's about the same as Kirk McLean. Kirk McLean's only in the Ring of Honor. So if I had to guess, I'm guessing Ring of Honor. I don't know if Longo did what the Sedins did. And the Sedins obviously got their jerseys retired. Hot Take says, hi back to Rob. Fangirl, I missed John Shorthouse on the radio during the playoffs. Yeah, he's good. And yeah, yeah, I think a lot of people miss John and John. Captain, do you think we will sign Markey back? I waver on this one, Captain Benapol. I do think that they're trying very hard to do so. Edmund, have you had people decline your Zoom interview request before? I haven't had anyone decline, but I have had a couple people not answer me. So if you count that as decline, it's not really a no, but it's certainly not a yes. So no, I haven't had anyone say no yet, actually. Everyone said yes, thank goodness. But those are the people that have actually responded. I've sent a couple Twitter messages, a couple emails out. Elliot Friedman is the one I would love to get on, and he was one I've been trying for a few months, but he is one who has not answered me. So he hasn't said no, but obviously he hasn't said yes. J Kid, do you see Eriksson or Sutter in part of the OEL deal? I think the Canucks want that to be, but I don't know if that's appetizing to Arizona. Brennan, will the Canucks bring Sedin's back management? I'm not sure. I think the Sedins might like being in their role as kind of brand ambassadors. Hot take, is there a goalie that you prefer in free agency or for trade if Markstrom leaves? Great question, Hot Take. Is there a goalie you prefer in free agency? You know, I've always liked Corey Crawford. I don't like Cam Talbot that much. I think, Robin Lehner, I like him, but he just got signed by Vegas. I do like Crawford. I would like Crawford more than Hudobin. Crawford's a little older, but he'll come in as a mentor to Demko if Markey does leave. So if Markey does leave, I think I pick Corey Crawford over Lundqvist, over Holtby and all those guys. Sonny, Nuck should retire Anders Nilsson's number. Yeah, because he certainly did a lot. Brennan, what happened to Shorty? I don't hear him anywhere. It's because they didn't go with. They went with in-house. Brendan Batchelor's always done the radio with Corey Hirsch, and then they went with national broadcasters for the bubble. So that's why Shorty and John Garrett were out of a job for the playoffs. Sonny, if the Sedins still played, how many points would they get, and would they play in the bottom six? If the Sedins still played, this past season, yeah, I think they'd play in the bottom six, maybe be on second power play. I think they'd get 30 to 40 points. I don't think they'd be like anything more than that. I don't think, actually. Phil, 20 to 25 million should be enough to build the team for at least 2021 season, then improve the team next season, sign some key free agents. Yeah, it's going to be key because Pettersson and Hughes need new contracts. So it'll be fascinating to see what happens. Rios, I would like Henrik Lundqvist for a year. That would be nice. Yes, he'd be good. Rob, Dusty is still a free agent. I think that's right. Yes, but Dusty is just 2 years younger than you, Rob. No, Rob, he's your age. You're 50, right? Yeah, Dusty's 50 as well. So he is a free agent. That was good. Jamie, Canucks have 15 million in cap space. Thank you. 14 million. Brendan, can you explain why the Canucks are so tight against the cap this year? They obviously took on too much, but why? Brendan, that will take a whole another live stream to look at. But just go to Vancouver Canucks cap friendly, and you will see some bad contracts like Louis Eriksson, Brandon Sutter, Jay Beagle, Sven Berchi. You'll see some big contracts like Tyler Myers. Not saying it's bad. Besser's got a big one. Horvat, Miller, Edler, and then you'll see some penalties that, including a stupid cap recapture penalty of $3 million for Roberto Luongo because he retired. So it adds up pretty quick. Hot take. I think Lundqvist would be the best mentor for Demko. Yeah, I agree. I think, Thomas Greiss also get a decent option for a team not wanting to spend a lot, but could be a good one. I actually forgot about Greiss. I don't know how you say his name, but yeah, he would be good actually. I forgot about him. Thank you. Rios, we also needed to sign free agents. Rob, hot take, do you think Markstrom will leave? Sonny, it's sad how Myers is making more money than Besser and Horvat. Yeah, he came in at $6 million where Besser's at 5.7 and I think Horvat's at 5.5. It's true. Edmund, I think Don Taylor would be awesome for you. Yeah, actually, I have a connection with Don Taylor a little bit, so that he might be really good actually. I think a lot of people would like that too. Phil, there's no point in going all out this offseason. We have to re-sign Pettersson and Hughes. Best course is to wait it out for a season. Simon Longo wasn't kidding when he said his contract sucks. It led to his recapture penalty. I wish there was a way to get rid of that. Unfortunately not. Edmund, Dave Pratt. Pratt would be hilarious. Nick, I'm honestly not worried about signing Pettersson, Hughes, Demko because a lot of bad contracts are going. Yeah, I'm not worried about re-signing those guys either, but I am worried about how we can fill the team around them. And there we go. Okay, Perfect. We're 1 hour in. I think that's a good way to stop. Fangirl says, "How about Jim Robson?" Yes. Mike Gillis rejected a trade for Luongo. Yeah, I heard that no, I didn't. Actually, I didn't hear that. I heard that Brian Burke did. It was Brian Burke, not Mike Gillis. It was Brian Burke. It was Jake Gardner, Nazem Kadri, and someone else. That's what it was. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to wrap it up here. So thanks, everyone. You can write your niceties and your goodbyes in the comment section. I'll check it out when this video uploads. But thank you, thank you, thank you. I know that you could be doing anything else right now, so I don't take you for granted. Thank you for being here tonight. I invite you to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Like this video if you haven't liked this video already. And yes, I'll be uploading videos throughout this week. As you know, my focus is Canucks content, but if there's any big news from the NHL that I can reflect on and it makes sense within my schedule, I will do so for sure. But certainly going to be focusing on the Vancouver Canucks, whether it's Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Jacob Markstrom, Chris Tanev, Tara Toffoli, whatever it may be. I will be on top of it and I'll be sharing my insights. I'm not an insider. I'm not going to get news faster than anyone else, but I think I do have the ability to break it down for you, with you, and make sense of it all. So I hope you stay in the loop with me this week. And once again, thank you for being here tonight. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. God bless, and go Canucks go. Good night.